prayer in this sacred time of celebration. We breathe deeply and become aware of the gift of life, the breath of life moving in and out through our bodies, breathing in the pure essence of God and breathing out, letting go and letting God be God in us right here, right now on this special day. So we thank you, loving Father, Mother God, for this holy and sacred moment. May it be engraved in our hearts as this special day of new life, of arising into a greater expression of life, of moving through every challenge and into the truth that in the awareness of God, we can overcome all challenges. So we give thanks this day for the example and the demonstration of Jesus the Christ, who overcame death, who transformed death into a greater and maybe the greatest expression of life, the great demonstration of life over death. So we know that life does not end with death, but it is transformed into a greater expression. So we immerse ourselves in this idea of new life today, in this Easter experience, in this resurrection experience, to overcome all our challenges and to live freely in God, knowing the truth that sets us free. And we give thanks and pray this in the name and in the nature of the indwelling Christ presence. And so it is. Amen. Oh, what a beautiful day. Welcome, everyone. I notice I may be the only one in the sun. No, Carl and I are in the sun. It's warm up here. And so we welcome you, want to welcome you back again, anybody who's been away for a while. And anybody here for the first time? Is anybody here at Unity of Jupiter for the first time this morning? All right. Welcome. Nice to have you. Welcome. We want you to know that we are a loving community that includes all people, all lifestyles, no matter what your sexual orientation, your race, your background. You're welcome to celebrate God with us, so thank you for being with us this morning. And I want to welcome our folks who are joining us online this morning from hopefully all around the world. You never know. This pandemic has caused us to reach out in new ways, and we'll never go back to the old ways, that there will be streaming and doing live services from here on out. So if you can't make it any Sunday morning when you want to be here, you can always join us online. So we are Unity of Jupiter, which is a new name for this ministry since probably the last time some of you were here. We say that we are an out-of-this-world, down-to-earth spiritual community creating heaven on earth, as above, so below. So thank you all for joining us today. And we have a statement of truth that's in your bulletin. We're going to share that together. Together, there is only one power and one presence operating in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And our affirmation for today, let's share that together. I am completely surrendered and passionately renewed. And we do a thing here, again, it's a part of these new times. If you have one of these guys, we invite you to take it out and to open up your social media, whether that's Facebook or Instagram, and just to post our first check-in to Unity of Jupiter, and then to post complete surrender. And then if you'll send that out to the world, and it gives you another opportunity to silence your cell phone, and then we fed two birds with one crumb. All right, and now we're going to move into our congregational song, which is, the order in the service, or in the bulletin is a little backwards with these two opening songs, but we're going to move into this song called Sunrise. So we invite you to all to stand and to breathe a little deeper as you stand, breathing into this moment, into this beautiful place. And the words again are in the bulletin, Sunrise. Sunrise, celebrate. We are brand new this day. We celebrate. We are brand new this day. And while you're standing, we're going to do our what we call our ritual of friendship. Now, normally we'd be hugging and shaking hands and doing all that stuff, but we're going to invite you just to rub your hands together and send out a bunch of energy to those people around you as we sing, I am the light of God. 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 Tell someone, you are the light. You are the light of God. You are the light of God. You are the light of God. And we are the light. Hands in the air if you dare. We are the light of God. We are the light of God. We are the light of God. That's a I am. Take it in your heart. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. And please be seated. Janet Walsh, our board president, is going to read the Daily Word at this point. Normally we would also do announcements at this time, but we're not going to do the announcements. They are in your bulletin. You can take them with you.
This one? Is this one okay? Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. Welcome to Unity of Jupiter. So this morning, Easter Sunday, the daily word is arise. I welcome my resurrection experience. In Mark's Gospel, the women who come to anoint Jesus' body on Easter morning flee in terror when, after finding the tomb empty, they are told Jesus has been raised. Stories from early Christian communities describe a transformation from faith to fear as Jesus' early followers come to realize that not even in death can hold the Christ Spirit captive. With joyous faith, Jesus' followers greet one another declaring, He is risen, and affirming, He is risen indeed. Letting go of fear, I say yes to my resurrection experience. Guided by the resurrection power of the Christ Spirit within me, I am set free from the tomb of lack and limitation. I follow Jesus into the light of new awareness, a new dimension of life. Christ is risen in me. And the quote from Mark, chapter 16, verse 6. But he said to them, Do not be alarmed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth who was crucified. He has been raised. He is not here.
Thank you, Janet. Michael Beecher is going to read our resurrection scripture.
Early in the morning on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone was moved away from the entrance. She ran at once to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, gasping for breath. They took the Master from the tomb. We don't know where they've put him. Peter and the other disciple left immediately for the tomb. They ran neck and neck. The other disciple got to the tomb first, outrunning Peter. Stooping to look in, he saw the pieces of linen cloth lying there, but he didn't go in. Simon Peter arrived after him, entering the tomb, and observed the linen cloths lying there, and the kerchief used to cover his head, not lying with the linen cloths, but separate, neatly folded by itself. Then the other disciple, the one who had gotten there first, went into the tomb, took one look at the evidence, and believed. No one yet knew from the scripture that he had to rise from the dead. The disciples then went back home. But Mary stood outside the tomb weeping. As she wept, she knelt to look into the tomb and saw 2 angels sitting there, dressed in white, one at the head and the other at the foot of where Jesus' body had been laid. They said to her, "Woman, why do you weep?" "They took my master," she said, "and I don't know where they put him." After she said this, she turned away and saw Jesus standing there, but she didn't recognize him. Jesus spoke to her, "Woman, why do you weep? Who are you looking for?" She, thinking that he was the gardener, said, "Sir, if you took him, tell me where you put him so I can care for him." Jesus said, "Mary." Turning to face him, she said in Hebrew, "Rabboni," meaning teacher. Jesus said, "Don't cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go to my brothers and tell them, I ascend to my Father and your Father, my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went, telling the news to the disciples. "I saw the Master," and she told them everything he said to her.
Thank you, Michael. So we all know that story. We've heard it many, many times growing up. And today we're going to hear it in a new way because it's a new day. And we have this new opportunity to take that teaching deeper, to see what it means for each and every one of us. And so we're going to do this in meditation and prayer as our music team leads us in singing "When I Pray." Thank you. Takes a team. When
I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
Feel my soul and
I pray. I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
So as we breathe deeper, we move deeper into this time of conscious contact with the Lord of our being. Breathing in that pure essence of God again. And as we are outside, we really get to smell the essence of nature, of creation. Breathing it all in and breathing out. Bringing ourselves into a deeper sense of peace and oneness and joy, new life. So following the breath, we relax the body even more, and the mind follows, letting our thoughts settle, coming into the stillness, into the peace of God. in this sacred way, in this sacred time, in this sacred place. This week of Holy Week has all been about releasing what doesn't serve us and renewing what does. Releasing fear and renewing faith. So as we take a deep breath in, we become more aware of the one power and the one presence, God the good, and breathe out, letting go, letting go, letting go. And I invite you to take another deep breath and bring to mind one thing that you know as a limitation to your life. And exhale and release any belief in that limitation. Inhale again and renew your sense of possibilities. Exhale and release any habit or judgment of others. Inhale and renew your commitment to seeing the divine in all beings. Exhale and release all doubt and indecision. And inhale a renewed sense of the divine power of wisdom. Exhale and release fear of lack. Inhale and renew your awareness of abundance in this life. Exhale and release thoughts of competition. And inhale and renew your willingness to cooperate. Exhale and release thoughts of illness. Inhale and renew your oneness to the healing power of spirit. Exhale and release any sense of discouragement. And inhale a renewed sense of hope with the power of affirmative prayer. Exhale and release your darkest fears. Inhale and renew the strength and courage of your heart. Moving deeper into this stillness and deeper into the heart of God, a new life. Bring your awareness deeper into your heart and rest for a moment in the nurturing presence of God's love. We hear these words today echoed in our own minds and hearts. I am the resurrection. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am one with God, and God is one in me. And on this beautiful, crisp Easter morning, I acknowledge the power of God's love to move me gracefully from the crucifixion experiences of my life, out of the tomb, the imposed tombs of isolation and despair, to my awakened state of freedom and peace and love. I step out into the sunlight of the Spirit, a new being, into a new day, born anew, happy, joyous, and free, ready to take on new life. With you, dear God, I know there is nothing I cannot overcome. There is no situation in this world that your love will not transform into a blessing for me. And just as spring springs back the life and beauty of nature, this time of rest and release and renewal brings back the wholeness of my being. On this day, I choose to be renewed by the living spiritual presence of the indwelling, living Christ. So resting in your deep divine love, dear God, I feel renewing life surging through my body, healing me, releasing my fears, and freeing me now. I move deeper into the stillness and into the silence, affirming, I am renewed this day in the allness and presence of God. I am renewed this day in the allness and presence of God in the silence. And having touched the stillness just for this brief moment, we gently bring our awareness back to this time and place with gratitude. With gratitude for this day, with gratitude for each other, with gratitude for the teachings and the reminder of resurrection, of new life. With gratitude for the reminder that the indwelling Christ is our God, leading us ever forward and upward into greater expressions of life as we sing once again, When I Pray.
When I pray,
I feel my love.
I feel my love go deeper. My love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper. My love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
When my daughter was about 3, we bought her this beautiful Easter outfit. You know, it was a beautiful dress with flowers and all kinds of pastel colors and shoes that matched. And as we were getting up that Sunday morning to get ready for church, Sophia said, I'm going to get my Easter on. And I just love that. I love that idea coming from the mouth of babes, you know, that I'm going to get my Easter on. Are you ready to get your Easter on? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to step into new life and a new way of being. And today feels like such a special day to have so many of you here. I've been affirming that this day with the choir and all of you is a resurrection of this ministry. And my prayer is that you will come back and be able to be nurtured and blessed by this ministry that you love so much. And so it's a new beginning in many ways. And, you know, sometimes we come into these holiday services and we hear the same thing every time. And sometimes it can get a little perfunctory. around these spiritual teachings, right? It's kind of like the woman who came into church one morning, and as she entered the church, one of the ushers said, "Christ is risen." And she walked down the aisle a little bit, and another usher greeted her and said, "Christ is risen." And she got down to her pew, and another usher greeted her, and he said, "Christ is risen." And she says, "Yeah, I know. They told me that back here." So we know that that's what this is about. Christ is risen. But the teaching for us today, how is Christ risen in us? How do we take this spiritual teaching and step into this new life in a new way with every moment, every breath is an opportunity to be born anew, to step into this new creation that we are. You know, this week, Holy Week, or actually over the last 5 weeks, I did a series based on a booklet from Unity called Release and Renew. So it was based on the 7 living words of Jesus from the cross, and which was the perfect setup for today, right? Without the crucifixion, there is no resurrection. But in Unity, we are people of the third day. We are about new life. We are about Easter. We don't have the images of traditional Christianity of the crucifix. And, it's really, really kind of an interesting symbol, isn't it? How many of us grew up walking into institutions seeing that crucifix? And it's a very violent image. And it makes me wonder why we have such a violent society if that is the foundation of our religion. And, but Jesus teaches us that what it's about is new life. It's about life. That's what we celebrate, moving through those challenges and into this greater expression. But no mud, no lotus, right? No crucifixion, no resurrection. And all of us have had our crucifixions in life in one way or another, right? Some of us are in recovery, and we've gone through that journey of addiction. Some of us have lost loved ones. Some of us have lost jobs, careers, homes, money, you name it. They've all been a crucifixion type of experience that we've overcome. And sometimes there's a little bit of lingering of those situations in our lives that bring us where that grief comes back up, and where we have to deal with it over and over and over again. And that's why it's so important to have a spiritual practice, because we reconnect with life. We reconnect with truth that life is greater than death. And yes, we miss the physical presence of our loved ones, but they live on. They live on in us. They live on in our memories. They live on in new ways that we don't even know yet, right? So it's important to embrace those challenges in our lives. And one of the words from the living words from the cross that Jesus said was, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" And when I did the lesson on that a couple weeks ago, it reminded me of the humanity of Jesus, that he felt betrayed by God. He had a human moment where he felt let down. And yet, he moved on. He acknowledged it, which is an important thing to do, that we do in our psychology, is to acknowledge our pain, and then we move on from it. George Lamsa was a wonderful Bible interpreter, and he used the Aramaic language that Jesus spoke in. And he translated this to say, "For this purpose I have come. For this purpose I have come. I have come to show the world that that death isn't the final word. That death doesn't get the final word, that there is life after death. There is this greater expression of life." He also came to teach us about our own indwelling God. You know, the scripture that Michael read so beautifully with Mary, and, Mary's, they have taken my Lord. And Jesus is right there. He said, where have they taken him? They haven't taken him anywhere, because Jesus was teaching us about the God within us, and that can't be taken away. No matter what happens in our lives, that presence, that power is there. It can't be taken away. And it's the stuff of which we are created. It is who we are. I'm not saying I am God, but God is me, right? We are an expression of the divine. We are created in the image and likeness of God. And Jesus also tells Mary, don't cling to me. You know, Jesus said that very often in his teachings, that don't worship me. I'm not the one. If you've seen me, you have seen the Father who sent me. But I'm not the one to worship. The one to worship is within you. So Jesus is telling us to let go of him. He still had work to do. He still had to ascend. And yet, we cling to these images, right? We cling to all these outer expressions. And sometimes I have lots of images that I like around me and my altar at home and things like that. What they do is they remind me to go inward. They remind me to connect with that divine essence. And that's what Easter is about, to remind us of this life, this energy that is always here and always inspiring us into a greater expression of life. And sometimes we forget because we get distracted, right? Look what this pandemic has done for us, to us. I don't want to say to us because that means we're victims. But what it has done, what we've experienced through it, the isolation and the shutdown, and many people have experienced the money, issues with money that has gone away, and all these things that we've experienced, and yet we still live in an abundant universe. The divine principle of abundance didn't go anywhere. We just have been readjusting, and we will continue to readjust until it's better than ever before. That's the vision I hold for this ministry, that we will regroup. And I know there's a lot that has gone on. I feel the grief of this ministry for when Diane moved on, that you didn't get to grieve her in a way, you didn't get to have a party, you didn't get to do all these things because the pandemic was happening. And I feel that almost every day from someone in this ministry that still misses Diane. And yet the ministry is still here. This is your ministry. I'm here holding space, and it's an honor to do that. It's just like this choir. The same choir that was here before is here today with new life, with a new opportunity to make a joyful noise. And we all get that opportunity as long as we remember these principles, as long as we remember that God is at work in and through us all in so many ways. So there's so many challenges. There's a story of a young girl whose dog got hit by a car and killed one morning. I hate to even tell this story because my dog is like, oh, think about that, it scares me. And yet she was looking out the window and watching her brothers bury her dog, and she was sobbing and crying, and her grandfather came up to her and put his hand on her head and gently guided her over to another room in the house to look out a different window. And out that window was a tree that she had planted in the fall that was blooming. And she just kind of squealed with delight. And sometimes we look out the wrong window, right? We're looking at all the pain and the suffering and the lack and the fear, when all we have to do is turn our focus and look for God and find God in all the good things. Again, Jesus was the master. He was pointing us in the direction to God, and we got stuck looking at his finger, right? We're looking at the messenger instead of the message. And so our work is to remember the message, to remember that new life is more powerful than any challenge that we face. So how do we do that? Well, there's a Chinese proverb that says, if you keep a green bough in your heart, a singing bird will come. If you keep a green branch in your heart, a singing bird will come. It's what we teach. It's Unity 101, affirmative prayer. Believe in the good. Believe in the beauty. Believe in the grace. Believe in the abundance of God. And that's what will show up in our lives. So we remember, we come together in spiritual community. We read the daily word on a daily basis. We do whatever it is. We meditate. We get out our yoga mat. We go to our 12-step meetings. Whatever it is that reminds us of something greater than the pain and the suffering of our human condition. So what do you do to keep that green branch in your heart, knowing that that singing bird is coming? And it will stay. It will stay as long as you keep that green branch there. So, happy Easter. It's so great to see you all and to meet many of you for the first time. We're going to move now into our living cross ceremony. As you see in the center of the labyrinth, there is a cross that was made by our staff. Thank you, Jane and family, wherever you are. And at the base of the cross is a bucket of roses that was lovingly donated to the ministry. And around each one of those roses is an affirmation that has been prayed over, and you will divinely select which one is just for you. So a few things we want to remember. First of all, Jesus lived about 33 years, as history tells us. And his ministry lasted about 3 years, and he was only on the cross for 3 hours. So the teaching is to not stay on the cross any longer than you need to get the message to move on. And so what we're going to do is, before we get there, just a couple things about the cross. In Unity, we teach that the horizontal piece of wood on the cross represents life. I forget the word I'm trying to say. Anyway, it's the continuum of life and the different things that happen in that human experience. And the vertical piece is about our spiritual journey from below to above. And where do they meet? They meet in the heart. And so we are going to get a gift, each one of us, from the cross. What is the gift of Easter to you today? What have your challenges taught you? Where are you needing to step into this new life in a greater way and put the challenges behind you? So our music team is going to play some music. This song is called Easter Alleluia. And we're going to serenade you as you come up one by one and enter into the labyrinth. I was thinking that we would walk the labyrinth, but with all these folks, we'd be here till dinner time, and the hams would probably be burnt. So we're going to walk into the center of the labyrinth in a very sacred way. And in that way is to, on your way in, you're going to release. What are you holding on to? What isn't serving your highest and best? What do you have to let go of? Take your time. Walk in that center path and receive a flower, a rose from the cross. Take a moment to give thanks. And then on your way out, you want to renew. What is it that you're renewing into your life? And then when you get back to your seat, as you patiently and lovingly wait and hold space for all the others to do this, take the affirmation off and read it, and take some time to contemplate and to think about what this affirmation has for you today. Okay? So, if there are some of you who have someplace else to be, I can't imagine where that would be. There's another bucket over here, and you can bypass the labyrinth if you need to, but we want to make sure that you all get a gift from the cross today, the living gift of spirit, the living gift of truth. Okay? All right. So we're going to have our ushers over here, and they're going to let you walk into the labyrinth, and you can line up in any way you want. And again, if it's not something that you want to do or can do, you can grab a rose from the cross and the bucket over here. And I'm imagining with the sunshine, I'll probably add it to me. So we're going to do this in what we call essential silence. Essential silence means to kind of inward. Try not to have conversations with people as we create this sacred space for everybody.